There's nothing to gain, nothing to lose in this life. You came with nothing. Whatever the hell is happening, you're on the profit side. Yes or no? Your life on this planet is like a pop-up. On the computer screen, you've seen these pop-ups? You just pop up and pop out. In the meantime, will you rise and shine is the only question, all right? The fundamental awareness that this is mortal, this is here only for a limited amount of time. If this was a normal conscious thing for you, you would put your life to best use, for sure.
Being a human being is not easy as opposed to an animal because we're born and nobody gives us a direction. And it's a very, very difficult process. You wake up in the morning and you don't really know what you can do. You could choose 12 different paths. It can be very confusing and very overwhelming. When you find that sense of purpose, when you find what I call your life's task, everything has a direction, everything has a purpose. Your energy is concentrated. It's not like you're just going down a single narrow pathway. It's not like life becomes boring and it's just about discipline and solving problems. It's actually the most exciting thing that can ever happen to you because you never have that lost feeling. You wake up in the morning and you go, yeah, this is what I need to accomplish. People come at you with all kinds of distractions and boring and irritating things. You're able to cut it out. It's just the most marvelous piece of internal radar that you can have. So I genuinely wish that everybody can find that kind of internal radar.
Did you sometimes know that you're not being authentic? Because I sure did. Well, here's the question. Who inside us knows? Only that authentic self. That's always there. And so I say to people, don't try and look for the authentic self. Just notice when you're not authentic. Just notice when you're not saying no. When there's a no that wants to be said, just say where you're not saying yes. But there's a yes that wants to be said inside you. Notice the impact on you when you don't assert your true self. How do you feel afterwards? So notice the difficulty being authentic and ask yourself, well, what is the belief that I'm carrying that if I'm authentic, then what?
If you've hidden the person that you are for a very, very long time, which I had, you don't know what you're looking for when you're looking inside of yourself. You don't know what your opinion is or what your truth is, right? So,
because it's biased?
Yeah, because you've layered it. There's tons and there's decades of lies and persona and performance and insecurity and anxiety and compensation all on top of something deep down that's supposed to be you. So if you want to work out who you are, you need to dig through all of that before you can get to anything that feels solid.
There's a part of me that always feels like I'm manipulating somebody. Do you know what I'm talking about?
That's not a feeling.
So what is it? It's a thought?
It's a belief.
Like even if I'm just doing something nice, there's a part of me that's like, oh, you're...
Yeah, you think you're fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called the imposter syndrome.
Okay.
And there's a reason why you have it. It has to do with the fact that you couldn't be real as a kid. In some ways, you had to pretend. And it's really hard to let go of that sense that I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
It's what you grew up with. So you could be kind to that part of yourself. Because it's not a feeling, it's a belief. And the beliefs can be, you don't argue with feelings, but beliefs you can challenge.
What we present is the compensation. You might see someone who looks beautiful and perfect and they're wearing the right en vogue outfit for whatever season it is and and their skin's glowing today. But if the energy by which they are presenting this ambassador of themselves is still coming from this flawed view of themselves, that's ultimately what gets recognized. It might get them a few dates, it might even get them married, but check back in 6, 12, 18 months, and it's like, okay, the relationship's not working. Well, no, because you are in a relationship with your facade, not with true self.
Neediness occurs when you place a higher priority on what others think of you than what you think of yourself. Anytime that you alter your words or behavior to fit someone else's needs rather than your own, that's needy. Anytime you lie about your interests or your hobbies or your background, that's needy. Anytime that you pursue a goal to impress others rather than fulfill yourself, that's needy. Whereas most people focus on what behavior is attractive or unattractive, what determines neediness and therefore attractiveness is the why behind your behavior. You can say the coolest thing or do what everyone else does, but if you do it for the wrong reason, it will come off as needy and desperate and turn people off.
you are a much more interesting person than you give credit for, because you're trying to act, you're trying to fit into the group and be what other people want you to be.
Yeah.
And you know, we all want the power to change ourselves, right? That's why self-help books do so well.
Yeah.
But you can't begin to change yourself in any meaningful way until you confront who you really are. You know, if you go out in public and you don't look in a mirror, your hair you're going to look really weird,
Yeah.
right? You can't begin to like improve your looks until you look in the mirror. You can't begin to change yourself until you look into that mirror of who you really are. All that other stuff that you don't want to confront.
If you want to know something about yourself, sit on your bed one night and say to yourself, you got to mean this, like you got to be desperate. This is no game, this. My life is not everything I want it to be, and perhaps it's not everything that I need it to be. And by need, I mean my life is so unbearable that the suffering that's attendant upon that is make me nihilistic, cynical, bitter, resentful, unable to have a good relationship, prone to punish people for their virtues because of my jealousy, driving the proclivity to see evil everywhere except within my own heart. Like, these are problems, man. You ask yourself, you sit on the bed and say, okay, man, I'm ready to learn something. Like, what's one thing I'm doing wrong that I know I'm doing wrong, that I could fix, that I would fix? It's like, you meditate on that, you'll get an answer. And it won't be one you want, but it'll be the necessary one. We need to separate out the distinction between fantasy and delusion. You do have a fantasy about the future. You have to, because like you said, it's not structured. So you have to provisionally map the future. That's what a plan is.
Positive
That's
goal.
what a strategy is.
Yeah.
Right. But that doesn't make it a delusion. Like, it becomes a delusion when the map bears no relationship to the underlying territory. So if you have a strategy for the future, you know, maybe let's say that your strategy for the future, just for the sake of argument, is that you have 5 million YouTube subscribers in 3 years. Well, you have no evidence of the strict sort that that's how it's going to be, because anything could happen between now and 3 years from now, let's say. But there's no reason to call that a delusion. It's one hypothetically possible path of potential. And then you can make the sacrifices necessary to bring that about. So even though it's a fantasy, because it maps something that isn't there, it's not a delusion. It's a delusion when you're ignoring elements of your own experience that would inform your fantasy more effectively. You're ignoring them so that you can live in a positive representation of the future without having to pay the appropriate price for it.
The world will constantly push you to perform success. But if there's one message I want you to walk away with today, it's this: you have to disappear. When I say disappear, stop announcing every move and start building something that speaks for itself. Disappearing means doing the work. It means doing the work in the dark. It means building in private what you don't need to prove in public. It means doing the work when no one's watching. You stop worrying about what people think and start valuing what you believe. Because a life that looks good or sounds good is nothing compared to a life that feels good.
The more you think, the less you do. The less you do, the worse you feel. The worse you feel, the more you think. The less you do, the worse you feel. Break that cycle. Do something. Doesn't have to be good, doesn't have to be right. Just do something.
The pursuit of the authentic self. You're in a space in your life and you have aspirations to be this other person, or you have a broader imagination of what your life could be like, but you don't know how to get from here to there. I think it's about really connecting with the truth of who you are and living as integrous with that as possible. And when you do that, I think the universe sees that and pays attention, and little sort of bricks on the path are put in front of you to gently nudge you in one direction or the other. And if you are in a place where you have the presence of mind, the awareness to see that and heed that, then that process compounds upon itself. The more you honor that, the more likely you are to find evidence in the world to support that thing. And your only true north is that voice within yourself that you either choose to honor or you repress.
I will do good. No matter what. No matter what happens to me. I will do good. No matter what happens to me. It's absolute rejection of the idea of being a victim. It's like, no matter how much suffering comes my way, no matter how much undeserved suffering comes my way, undeserved and unjust, let's say, in spite of my innocence, I will not lose faith and I will do good. Now,